Let's do this together. We're going to start in a 4 inches apart parallel squat. So what we want to do is take the dumbbells, if you have them close by. Our feet are 4 inches apart in a parallel position, and we're going to lower down into one squat. That means a decrease at the hips and the sits bones broaden. From here, we're going to inhale as we lengthen all the way back up to standing. Exhale as we crease at the hips, tip the torso forward. Check that the knees are over the foot island. Inhale as we bring it up. Now we're going to do an opposite diagonal reach with the arms. The right arm comes up as the left arm lengthens back in the squat. Inhale, bring it up through center, long legs. Exhale as the left arm floats alongside the ear, the right arm reaches back. Inhale as we narrow through the pelvis to bring it up. Exhaling as we crease forward. Inhaling as we rise. If that feels aggressive with the dumbbells, set them down at any time. You can always keep your hands on your hips as you're working. Just a few more here. Watch that those knees stay aligned, big toe, second toe. Mine are kind of fighting, trying to go out over the pinky toes today. Let's do one more with the right hand floating up, left hand reaching back. Come up to the top. Last one, we're going to bring the left hand up and the right hand down and back. Come all the way up, and we're going to go into some archetypal posture squats. You can set those dumbbells down if you had them. And we're going to sit with our feet a little bit wider than our shoulders in turnout. From here, we're going to go into a really low squat. So you can join me all the way at the bottom. Get ready for it. Or you can choose to hold higher than the knees if that's not great for you and where your body is today. So the idea is we're going to hold here for a moment to really kind of sink into the pelvis, broadening the sits bones and broadening the pelvic floor, stretching through the hips and inner thighs. Feel that happening? So we've really lost this range of movement in Western culture. We're always propped up by a chair, by a bed, even by a toilet seat. So we want to really find that full range of movement through the joints, and we're holding and opening that. We're going to do 4 repetitions. So everyone exhale to prepare. Inhale as we narrow and float straight up. Try not to push on your legs if you can. That's the additional challenge. Exhale as we lower down. Straight away, we're going to inhale to rise. Using the core to assist you. That inhale helps you float up. Exhale as you lower down, sits bones broaden. I'm actually imprinting the inner thighs away with my elbows. Inhale as we rise up. Last one. Exhale as we lower down. Hold this last one down. Really open the inner thighs as we sink deeply into the hips. Inhale as we rise all the way back up to standing. All right, let's go into some donkey kicks for the right leg. So we're going to have our hands down on the mat, shoulder width distance apart. Knees are 4 inches apart, parallel under our hips, and we have a neutral pelvis. From here, we're going to float the right leg back by brushing the toes alongside the mat, reaching the leg long, 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 long. Once we've found that length, we're going to float the leg up level with the hip. Spiral that inner thigh to the sky. Now we're going to flex the foot. That means reach the heel away from the crown of the head. And now we're going to bend the knee. Woo, and you should really feel those hamstrings kick on straight away. Aiming to get your heel over your knee if you're not there yet. Work where you can. And from here, we're going to do a little pulse from right under the glam line. If that feels aggressive to your body, you can always have the knee lower and then work from a more of a diagonal line rather from that parallel line with the floor. So do what works for you today. Collarbones are wide. Navel is actively drawing up and in between the shoulder blades. Broadening between the shoulder blades with breath. Hold the next one. We're going to open the front side of the ankle, so now the toes are pointing towards the sky. And then we're going to swivel the inner thigh down to the floor. The knee tracks out over the side of the mat. The pelvis did not move. Go ahead and exhale, bring it back to start, swiveling in. Inhale as the inner thigh swivels to the floor. Exhale as we bring it back parallel. Inhaling as we swivel. Make sure we don't hang in the low back. Swiveling back to start. Opening the inner thigh down to the floor. Feeling a little heat build up on that diagonal line of the tush, yes? Opening that knee out to the side. Bring it back to parallel. Last one, we're going to go into torso rotation next. Bring the knee to parallel and slowly lower it back down to the floor. If you have a dumbbell close by, go ahead and grab it. If not, you can use empty hands. We're gonna make a circle shape with the arms in line with our nose in the center of our body. They're just below the underarms. We're gonna open the front side of the hips and melt the tailbone down to the floor. And on the next inhale, the rib basket rotates to the right. And then we exhale as we come back to center. It doesn't have to be a great big range of movement. What we want to do is make sure that the pelvis isn't rotating with us. So I like to think about that right hip kind of drawing forward a little bit in opposition to the rotation of the shoulder girdle and the rib basket. I'm asking for an inhale as we rotate, so we add space between the vertebrae while we're working. And let's all take a second to make sure that our booty isn't holding on for dear life. Yes? Bye booties. So what we want to do is think about the skin and the kneecaps drawing out to the sides to help find the inner thigh, low belly, and pelvic floor connection. Last one. And let's go ahead and take a second dumbbell into your hand. What? A second one. And we're gonna go into our helicopter lunge. So we're gonna stand in the center of our mat. Our feet are 4 inches apart, parallel. From here, let's go ahead and take our hands on our hips to start with. And we're gonna take a good step forward with the right foot, imagining we're at 12 o'clock. Both knees bend as the torso stays upright. That's an exhale. Inhale, bring it back to 2 straight legs as we step back to center. Now we're gonna step just off the mat to the right. Don't go too wide. We don't wanna torque the knees at all. Torso stays upright as we exhale and lower down. Inhale, bring it back to start. Exhale, now we're reaching back towards 6 o'clock with the right leg, lowering down, both knees bend. Inhale as we bring it up and back to center. Let's go to 3 o'clock again. Out to the side, arms can come out to the side if you'd like that additional challenge. Bring it back to center, let's go, the arms come forward as we go into that 12 o'clock position. Up through center, woo! Catch yourself, just match right where you got started. Going back, arms out to the side, bring it back up. We're gonna step back, the arms are gonna go forward even though we're going back. Inhale, bring it back to center. Out to the side. Inhale to center. Exhale forward. Pick up the pace a little bit. Inhale, center. Exhale, side. Inhale, center. Exhale, back. Inhale, center. Exhale to the right. Inhale, center. Exhale to the front. This is the last time to the front. Inhale, center. Exhale, going to the side. Inhale, center, last time. Exhaling as we lower to the back. Inhale, center. All right, let's sit down on our bottom. Keep the dumbbells if you have them. And we're gonna go into an L-sit or a crisscross applesauce for reverse tree hugger. Choose whichever one feels better for your body. The idea is we want to sit tall on our sitting bones. That can be tough to do with the legs extended in front of you. So you can choose to sit with your legs in a crossed position like Kate is. And from here, we're gonna take the dumbbells or empty hands and bring our arms into a soft bend. Get the elbows just below the underarms so that we can broaden the collarbones. And on the inhale, we are going to draw those elbows wide as they come in line with the torso. And then we bring it back. So the bend in the elbows didn't change. And the mid-back stays broad the whole time. Exhaling as we bring it in. Inhaling as we open wide. So notice here that Kate is sitting tall on her sitting bones. And the inhale, the intention is for the ribs to come wide. So the idea isn't for the shoulders to crowd up. Can you show us what that might look like? An inhale, we don't want to take it through the shoulders. She really showed us, didn't she? And on the exhale, we're narrowing through the corset. The inhale, the ribs go outbound, kind of like bucket handles. Exhale, we're gonna narrow through the corset. Let's do 2 more. Make sure those elbows don't climb up as we work. Inhaling wide. Exhaling back through center. This is the last one. Get tall with the breath. Oh, so beautiful. Exhale as we narrow through the corset. Go ahead and stand back onto your feet, and we're gonna take that lunge on the other side. So we're gonna stand in the center of the mat. Feet are 4 inches apart and parallel again. And we're gonna start stepping forward to 12 o'clock in this direction. So let's go ahead and take the arms into a 90-90 bend, palms facing in. And we're gonna exhale as we step forward, lowering into that lunge. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale just to the side of the mat, not too wide. Inhale to center. Exhale as we go back. Inhale back to center. Let's add the arms out to the side. We can bring the arms out and back to center. Bring the arms up and back to center. The arms float out, back to center. The arms float up again as we go back. Through center, out to the side, through center, going forward, through center. Let's pick up the pace a bit, out to the side, center, back, center, side, center. Stepping forward as we lower on the exhale, to the side, exhaling down, inhaling up, to the back for an exhale, inhale up, side. This is our last time to the front. Exhaling as we lower. Inhale with intention to rise. Exhaling out to the side. Last time to the back. And with control, bring it all the way back to start. Let's lose the dumbbells and we're gonna go right into the donkey kicks on the other side. So come down onto your knees and your hands. Hands are shoulder width distance on the mat below the shoulders, and the knees are 4 inches apart, parallel under the hips. Lengthening the tailbone from the crown of the head, broadening the collarbones. That left leg is gonna reach, reach, reach. The big toe sweeps the floor until the leg is fully extended. Kneecap absorbs into the quadriceps. Now we're ready to float the leg up using the right waistline, left inner thigh, and the glam line. Do you feel that happening, guys? That connection all the way across? Okay. This time we're gonna keep the front side of the ankle open first. Soften the knee. Now the toes go up towards the sky. I don't care if it's a 90-degree bend. Watch your back and make sure we don't dump to get a higher bend or a higher foot, okay? Instead of starting with the pulses straight up, we're gonna start with that rotation of the inner thigh. So we're gonna swivel the inner thigh to the floor and then swivel it back in towards the midline of the body. Collarbones stay wide, pelvis stays level. Swivel the left leg out, and then bring it back in. So it's really like a doorknob turning through the pelvis. Lengthening the knee away from the crown of the head. And bringing it back to start. Just a few more here, then we're gonna flex the foot and go into those donkey kicks. I'm having to really fight to keep that left hip level. It really wants to open up. You'll find better core control if you can keep the pelvis level. Bring the last one to parallel, flex the foot so the heel reaches to the sky, and now we are going to do a tiny lift from under the glam line. So that's a really small range of movement, and it is irrelevant how high that foot raises. So we want to make sure that that midline of the body is connected. Tess, you can even bring that knee in a tiny touch more. Oh, there it is. You feel that happening? We're gonna breathe in between the shoulder blades. The longer we're supporting our weight on our hands, the more the shoulder blades want to wing. Do you feel that connection through the back line of the body? Beautiful. And open up that low back a tiny touch more. Doesn't matter how high that knee is. Don't worry about height. Think about length for 4. Last 3, creasing at the back side of the hip. Last 2. And slowly bring that left knee all the way back down to the floor. Grab one dumbbell if you have it, and we're gonna go into those kneeling torso rotations on the other side. So we have a circular shape with our arms. Knees are about 4 inches apart on the floor. Shins are heavy, that's helped us access the low belly. And on our inhale, the rib basket rotates to the left, shoulder blades melt down. Exhale, bring it back to center. Notice that the arms, the head, the shoulders, and the rib basket are moving in unison. The pelvis is not invited to join them. And we want to make sure that the arms or the nose don't start first, right? So we don't want to see little tripping and tracking along in little bits. We want to all glide together and seamlessly return to start. Inhaling to add space to your spine as you rotate. Exhaling, narrowing the corset, but try not to lose any of that height you've gained. Inhaling as we spiral. Exhaling back to center. Let's do 2 more here. Really melt the shins heavy into the floor. Release the glutes. Last one. And bring it all the way down. We're gonna go into scrape the barrel next. So we're gonna sit down on our bottom. Legs extend in front of us. And you can grab both dumbbells or you can have empty hands. So Kate and I are gonna have our legs long. Tess is going to start that way with us. And we're going to take the hands in front of us, palms down. Lean to about 3 or 4 inches with a flat back. Now we are going to roll the tailbone, roll the low back, and somewhere around the mid back. We're going to pause. And now think about your abdomen as a barrel. And we're scraping through that barrel in a circular movement, keeping the spine long even though we're in a curl. Collarbones stay wide. Nice long breath even when we're working. We don't want to hold our breath. Let's change direction of that scraping. And Tess is going to show us a variation where she's going to float both legs up into a teaser position. It's going to look like this. And that can be an additional challenge for your balance and for the core challenge. Let's go 3 more. Let's go 2 more. And bring it all the way up with long arms. Set those dumbbells down. We're going to go into some bridges here in a closed parallel position. So lay down onto your backs. Head is down on the floor. Arms are long at your sides. And we have our outer thighs magnetized and our big toes touching. Melt the shoulder blades down the spine. And we're going to think about rolling the tailbone under us. And then you're going to feel the low back imprint on the floor. Once you feel that, start to peel the pelvis up. Knees reach long as we curl all the way up to the top of our bridge. Hold real quick. Check in. Make sure your kneecaps are reaching long away from your shoulders at a diagonal. Make sure the hips are level and we have an opening on the front side of the hips and that we've stopped on the shoulders, not all the way up on the neck. From here, we're going to lower in a flat back. So we're not going to curl. We're going to keep this flat and we're going to crease at the hips as we exhale, lowering straight down. I want you to think about the tailbone reaching long, long, long away from the crown of the head. And now we're going to roll up again. Roll, 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 peeling up. All the way up at the top of the bridge now, and let's go straight away into creasing at the hips. The tailbone reaches long as the sits bones broaden. Rolling the tailbone under. Peeling up at the top of the bridge. Hinging at the hips as we lengthen and lower. Outer thighs magnetize as we roll the tailbone under. Curl through the spine as we peel up to the tippy top of the bridge. Crease at the hips as we lengthen and lower down. Rolling the tailbone under. This is the last one, so make it count. Peeling up, lengthening all the way to the top of that best bridge you've got. Crease at the hips as we reach. So much space between the vertebrae as we gently lower back down to start. All right, we're going to come up and go straight away into some leg sweeps with that left leg. So we're going to be down on our right forearm. Right knee is bent. Kate's going to stay on her hip, but both Tess and I are going to float up into a diagonal line with our hip off the mat. Palm is flat. Lift out of that right shoulder so that we don't jam into the ear. And that left arm is long on your leg. You can also have it on your hip to help keep the waistline and pelvis organized. From here, we're going to float the left leg up off the floor just by a few inches so that it's level with the hip and the knee and the ankle. From here, we're going to lengthen forward, but don't let that pelvis track with you. The pelvis reaches in opposition. And then inhale, inner thigh reaches long, long, long as that leg comes in line with the hip. On this one, let's take the leg a tiny bit behind us, and you'll get that crease behind the glam line. Feel that? Opening the hip, and then we're going to exhale as we switch the crease back to the front side. You can gaze down at the floor if that feels aggressive to your neck. Lengthening back, a little bit behind the hip, but not to change the low back. Exhaling as we crease forward. Inhale as we send the crease under the behind. Exhaling forward. Just a few more here. We're going to change it up. Keeping the torso quiet. Lift out of that shoulder. We tend to want to sink down as we start to get fatigued. Head is in line with the spine. We're going to hold the next one forward. So hold it forward. Without changing anything else, we're going to bend the knee. So now my knee is in front of my body, but the foot is reaching behind. And I'm just going to do a lift straight up and straight down. It's not a rotation. It's just a lateral lift. My leg is staying parallel to the floor. Inhaling as we crease at the outer hip. Exhaling as we bring it down. It's a small range of movement. Extra challenge. Left arm comes up to the sky as we finish. Last 4. Last 3, last 2. With control, bring the knees stacked and lower the hip down as well as the arm. Let's go into some planks. So we're gonna have our hands shoulder width distance. Legs are gonna step behind us in first position, heels touching, toes turned out. Kate's showing us this exercise on her knees, which makes it a lot more accessible. What we're gonna do is a shoulder hinge, and we're gonna work with the ankles to find that range of movement. So what we're gonna do is shift the weight back just an inch or two, and then we're gonna open the front side of the ankles coming onto the toes to shift forward an inch or two. We're gonna shift back and shift forward. So we're shifting forward on an inhale and shifting back on an exhale. I'm gonna point out the way that Kate is managing the same range of movement. She has the shins melting heavily into the floor to help access the low belly. She is allowing a little crease on the front side of her hips since the ankles aren't doing the movement. And she's got beautiful breath between the shoulder blades to make sure she's maintaining the connection to the back line of the body. Tess is showing us the same exercise, but she's on her toes and her hands. She's also breathing between the shoulder blades, giving me a little bit more even. You can think about your heart raising to the sky. And we want to make sure we're not gripping the seat, but I like to think about narrowing my hips without squeezing the tush, and that helps me really find the deep abdominals. You feel that between the two hip bones? You can really feel that if you can narrow through the outer hips without squeezing the glutes. Let's do one more, guys, and then we'll do the leg sweeps on the other side. Go ahead and bring the knees all the way to the mat, and we're gonna flip onto our left. Left forearm is on the mat, left knee and hip are on the mat, and the right leg is long. All right, from here, guys, if you're up for it, that left hip raises off of the floor. You can have the right hand on the hip to help keep the pelvis organized and the waistline long. Get your head in line with your spine. Float the leg up, front side of the ankle is open. Exhaling as we crease. Inhaling as we bring it just behind the hip, yes? Inhaling, that inner thigh is reaching so long. Exhale, crease underside the booty. So I want to make the point that as we're going back into that reach behind the hip, we want to make sure we don't flare the ribs and shorten the back like so. We want to make sure we keep everything organized and that femur is moving through the dome of the pelvis. It's a ball and socket joint. Let's do 2 more, and then we'll do that raise to the side. Last one to the back. Sweep the right leg forward. It's at an angle probably just in front of your mat. Keep the knee there, but fold the foot back. And now the outer hip is going to raise and lower. We want to do this without spiraling that inner thigh forward. So think about it staying parallel to the floor as we raise and lower. Lift out of that left elbow. Backside of the left underarm is coming forward. We're going to do 4 more, and then we're going to stand up and do some skating. Last 2. Last one with intention. Stack the knees and bring that hip all the way down. All right, let's stand on up. If you'd like to, you can grab your dumbbells for skating or keep your hands empty. It's entirely up to you and where you're feeling today in the workout challenge. So we're gonna have our right foot on the mat in turnout, and we're gonna take the ball of your left foot onto a slider, and if you don't have a slider, you can use a paper plate like Kate is showing us. Straight away, we're gonna keep this left leg long as we go into a single leg squat. So the right knee bends, the torso tips forward, just like we started the workout, and we have a deep crease at the front side of that right hip. On the inhale, the torso tips upright as we stand all the way tall with 2 straight legs. Exhale, let's send the arms wide, creasing at the hips. Inhale, narrow through the pelvis to rise all the way up. Exhale, notice that your sits bones are broadening at the base of the pelvis. Inhale as we bring it back to start. Can you guys feel that happening from the base of the core? Those sits bones are broadening. And instead of thinking about pushing down on the floor, we want to think about narrowing those sits bones. So it's at the base of the pelvis, they're broad here, narrow, and that really helps us to find the deep abdominals for that lift. Exhaling as we lower. Inhale, bring it up. 2 more here. Keep that left leg long. Keep the crown of the head reaching long from the tailbone. Last one. Hold here. Why not? Breathing. Really think about that right inner thigh spiraling forward. 3, 2, and come all the way up with control. All right, if you do have dumbbells, let's grab them for our roll down with a washerwoman. So you have 1 dumbbell in each hand, feet are 4 inches apart and parallel, all 10 toes shining straight forward. Straight away, we're gonna bring the arms up and overhead, aligned with the ears, and we wanna plug those arms down the back line of the body. Bend the elbows if you need to get the shoulders off the ears or if that feels aggressive to you. We're gonna nod the chin, round the spine. As we lower down, think about lifting from underneath the base of the ribs. Try not to shift your weight back too far. Arms come long and hold. From here, we're gonna find length and deepen our curl a tiny touch more. And if this feels aggressive to the back line of your body, you can give the knees a good bend. Don't be shy about it. You might even find a better stretch through the hamstrings. Sometimes, depending on the day, that feels like even a more significant stretch than when I hold the legs straight. Do what works for you today. Broaden the collarbones, melt the shoulder blades down the back, even in flexion. Head should be looking back through the inner thighs. And on an exhale, we're gonna send the elbows wide, palms face your knees as we row. Collarbones chase those elbows wide. And then we're gonna inhale, bring it long. Collarbones stay wide as we exhale, elbows reach for the sides of the room. Inhale, arms return toward the floor. Exhaling, palms are facing in the whole time. Inhaling long. Can you level out the weight between the front and the back side of the foot as you work? You might find yourself tipping forward or sinking back. Try to keep it level on the forefoot and the rear foot. Looking back through the inner thighs, resist the temptation to look forward. We all want to see what's coming all the time, right? I'll tell you what's coming next, don't worry. Let's do 2 more here. Inhaling, arms long. Last one, return the arms long. Really deepen the curl as you lengthen the legs if you've bent them. Slowly rising up, legs are long, arms are long, head is hanging heavy. Stacking the spaces between the vertebrae, arms come up and overhead. And then we're gonna exhale as we bring the arms down to the sides. Fix your hair. And then we are going to come into our skating on the other side. So we're gonna bring our slider or our paper plate with us. And we're gonna have the left foot on the mat in turnout and the ball of the right foot on the slider or the plate. From here, we're gonna keep that right leg long as we exhale. That leg reaches long, the left knee bends. Inhale as we come to 2 straight legs at the top. Exhale, sit bones broaden. Right leg stays long, both inner thighs spiral forward. Inhale as you return to standing. Sternum comes over the pubic bone at the top. Exhaling, creasing deeply at the hip. Inhaling as you come up. You can kind of see this as like a single leg squat, how we started, yes? That inner thigh spirals to the sky. Inhale as we bring it up. Really lengthening the tailbone from the crown of the head. I like to send the intention of length rather than the intention of low. So I like to think about sending my tailbone back rather than my tailbone down. If that makes sense on the diagonal, the opposing diagonal, rather than on that lowering. Keep the hips level. We're gonna do 2 more. Keeping that left knee aligned with big toe, second toe. Inhale as we narrow to raise. And remember, we gotta even out both cheeks, yes? Hold, my friends, hold it down. Smile it out, we're almost there. Last 2, with intention, inhale as you narrow through the pelvis and rise, and it's time to stretch it out. So set the dumbbells down if you have them. We're gonna come into a downward facing dog position. So we're gonna have our hands wide, about shoulder width on the mat, and step back into your best downward facing dog. From here, we're going to take the left knee, bending the left knee, the foot comes up off the mat, and we're going to spiral the ribs and the pelvis open. The knee stays bent. Lift away from the shoulders, melt the right heel down, reach the right ribs away from the right pelvis. Nice deep breath here. Inhale, positive thought into your day. Exhale, return back to the downward facing dog. Left foot comes to the mat. Right knee bends, right foot floats up. Inhaling as we rotate. Taking a positive thought to maintain with you the rest of the day. One more beautiful inhale. Reach the knee long from the crown of the head. Exhale as you return the foot down to the mat. Hold here for one final breath. Inhaling goodness. Exhaling tension. Slowly bring both knees down to the mat. Give your head a second to get the blood out of the brain. And congratulations, you finished with us. Beautiful job.